Okay, the Webley Raider's back, and the Raider was going to be the gun that I was going to set up for night vision shooting, or filming stuff. And I suppose the reason for that is that I put my better scope on the wine rock, and I left the Optisan on here, and the Optisan has got a threaded end on there where where normally the cover goes on the front, so there's a threaded end on there, so you can thread something onto it. Now, when you first started thinking about trying to film stuff, and then that brought out the thing about doing night vision stuff as well, the first thing I went into was the Eagle Vision stuff, was buying the Eagle Vision setup, as it were. And I'm more than happy with this because this gives me I suppose something that the first thing I ever bought for this was one of these. You screw it onto the scope. You then put whatever you're filming with on here, and then line it up, and it's just a bit too wobbly and not very. It's just difficult, and it doesn't stay right. It doesn't stay on there. So I discounted that very quickly, and got the Eagle Vision stuff. And the thing with the Eagle Vision, I'm going to try and save you the time now of what I had to do. So the Eagle Vision, when you get it, is basically a couple of tubes. Yeah, so it's a couple of tubes. I think when I bought it, you got an iPhone kind of camera mount bit as standard thrown in, and then you had to choose which ends to get based on the scope. Now the scope that I've got isn't one that they put on the list and stuff, so I had to find the right thread to go on the scope. To find the right thread to go on the scope, and then find either the step up or step down rings. And if you know anything about photography, that's a common term when people are taking a lens up or down from something else. So that was one thing you kind of have to do, is make sure that your scope can fit onto whatever ring you're getting. Now, the first mistake I made was I bought a couple of step up, step down rings to get around about the right way, when in fact what I should have done is, I think, for about a £5 they're about a £5 and they because the box breaks, about a £5 on Amazon, and you get one of these bad boys, and that tells you the size of the scope ring there, which tells you what step up or step down ring. So at the moment I've got onto my scope I've got a 38mm going to 52, then a 52 going to a 42, yeah, because I couldn't find a 38 to 42, so I've had to go up and down to get the right one. And although buying them, like a set of these wasn't a lot, having bought 2 sets of them, the one that I needed wasn't in the set. That didn't exist. It wasn't there. So I then bought this and bought a single ring that did it for me. So if you're going to do it, this is probably a good thing to buy initially. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then I've got the other one, and I think on here I've gone to a 37mm, and that's the one I needed to buy individually, and that initially went into this thing. Now, in its day, this was a good camera. This used to sit on top of my head on a helmet when I used to jump out of a plane, and this is a good camera had a better lens on it, but it was a good camera, and this fits in there. So I'm fairly sure now that whatever I do when I attach that to this, when I'm looking at it, it's going to have a fairly decent line of sight through the scope. Yeah. The only issue with it is if you've adjusted your scope and you've got a lot of left or a lot of up and down, that might affect what you're seeing in the sight picture, because this is going to look straight down the scope regardless of where you've moved the sight picture around. Okay, so that's that's one of the only issues with it, really. But that's going to give you a nice view of it. And the problem I had was this Badger, but I kind of changed that. I took the plunge and I thought, why don't I use the iPhone bit? The iPhone bit goes inside there, and all you need to do is get, for your iPhone, something like this. And this is basically a case that you buy for your iPhone, and I had to go for iPhone because no one else does these kind of cases with a 17mm screw there. And that 17mm screw fits over so your iPhone goes inside this case and it's held in place, and then that you screw that onto the Eagle Vision, and then there it goes, and you're attached. And I've got a video I'll put up in a sec of me. I got this back the other day, so I've videoed me zeroing this using the iPhone, just because I could. Yeah, so that's what I did with that. So if you want to film stuff, that's probably the easiest thing to do. So you don't need all these. Don't need all that. You need one of these to find out how it is. You need the Eagle Vision, and then if you need to get the threads between these two, you may be able to order one straight from Eagle Vision if you know the size of that. And if they don't do them, you'll have to get a step up or step down ring from their tube. Okay, so that's filming stuff, and that's just in the day. I wanted to go a bit further than that and film, obviously film at night, and my initial one was this camera, because this camera's got the Sony night shot on it. So there's a little a very low light at the front there, and then it picks up the infrared image on the camera. And obviously, if you put that into the lens here, and then attach an IR torch, or spotlight, should I say, then the camera's going to pick up what the infrared is on. So, you know, and it's I was using it out to sort of 20 yards, and it was fine, no problem at all. The only problem I had was the fact that because it's such an old camera, because I've only got one battery, it only lasts about 10 minutes and it dies, especially at night when it's cold. So it isn't great. So I was thinking about upgrading this, but to upgrade this, anything with decent night shot, you're talking 200 quid. So where I am at the moment, I bought this. This is a dash cam, and I bought this because it was £22. But it's also, you can see there's 4 what look like infrared lights on it. What, you know, the lights that you would use to create that little light, and I suspect what this is kind of good for is if, say, you're a taxi driver and you're filming inside the car. So outside the car it might not be too great, because you know that there's too much light, or that a lot of that light might bounce off the windshield and blind it. So I'm not quite sure, but with the setup that I've got, I put this into it, held it in with some elastic bands, and then I was using that. A bit of a battery pack next to it, and if I'm honest, the concept works. So the concept does work, but the pitch is shit because it was 20 quid. So this is possibly where I'm going to take this next. Is just get a dash cam and attach it to that and see if I can get that to work. See if we can get that done. But yeah, if you're wanting to film stuff, I'd go for the Eagle Vision, and I'd buy one of these, and these were cheap as chips as well. Yeah, so that's I suppose what I'm doing there is I'm trying to save you the waste of money that I've had on bits and pieces. I'll put that video now of me zeroing this with the iPhone. Okay, so as near as damn it, I'm going to try and zero this Webley Raider. I've just got back from a service, just put the scope back on. I'm going to see if I can zero it in 2 pellets. So I think I'm ready to go. Yeah, so I've got the Webley on a stand. And this crazy iPhone. And what I'm going to do, I've got it so that the stand is resting on with the weapon, so it's pointing naturally at the top of the target. First shot. Okay, and now I'm gonna adjust my sights and take the crosshairs now to that point of impact. Gun was rested. Let's put another one. Pellet in, and then readjust the stand so that we're now going to be on the target. And let's try this second shot now. Yeah, that was quite good, wasn't it? Now, obviously, we could refine that, couldn't we? We could refine that. Do we want to refine that? Let's put another one in. Let's see where we go. Yeah, because I'm only 15 yards away, but principle's the same. We could just go all day until we get rid of the blue dot in the middle. I think you'll find that zeroed.